podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with one of my co-hosts.
Tony, aka Shinsuke Nigramura.
Okay, you went tasteful by making it Negro. I
Mhm.
respect it. I respect it because that could have went a different direction. I don't know how the
I don't
fuck
think I
about.
could. I don't think I could put nigga in my name on Twitter. I don't know. I never
I don't
tried it.
think. I don't think so. I mean, you probably could finesse it. People finesse that type of stuff, but yeah, we don't need that within the first 30 seconds of the podcast. So thanks for keeping that ad revenue coming in. I'm not mad at you. And of course, we back again with the now permanent third co-host, my man James. What's up, bro? Welcome back. So you got the fresh locks.
Oh yeah, I try. I try.
Yeah, yeah, making everybody else look bad. That's fine. But back
I'm bald.
again,
It doesn't
man.
matter.
Yeah, no, you cheated. That's all that means. I
Cheated.
thought,
Now I came home. I realized that this was not going to go much further than I already did,
hey, look.
and I wasn't about to risk no Stevie Wonder situations.
I respect it. I absolutely respect it. You could be in a situation where people telling you to cut your hair like Wayne without
Nigga,
thinking about the ramifications of what's going to happen when Wayne cut his hair. Like,
all I'm saying is, when people start telling you to come home, it's too late to come home.
yeah,
I beat
yeah,
everybody. So
you did. You did. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at all. But back once again, man, it is not a hair themed episode, shockingly enough. It is actually episode 56. Once again, here to discuss what's been going on in the gaming world, like what everybody's been talking about. And I gotta say, the primary thing I've been seeing people talk about in the last few days, and the main thing I wanted to talk about today, is the Fallout TV show that Amazon just dropped on Amazon Prime. It came out on the 10th. I believe that was Wednesday. Wednesday was when it came out. Um, they dropped it early, which showed me they were a little confident, like they wanted to get that buzz started. And it was very effective for me. Like I finished the show, it's been out for like 2 days, and I have a lot of good things to say about it. But we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna kind of get into gaming adaptations in general. I know we've kind of had that conversation, but there are a lot of new ones coming up that even I didn't know about. So there's a big conversation to have there. And I think Fallout sets a lot of things in different perspectives. But just to start it off, you guys haven't watched Fallout yet. Neither one of you guys have seen it, right?
Not yet.
nah, not yet. I gotta
Okay,
finish
okay.
X-Men.
Fair. No, X-Men is priority. That is priority now.
Definitely.
We can't talk about that. Not
Nah,
after
please
this
don't.
week.
I've done a
Because
very good job of avoiding spoilers, but I can see the
yeah,
niggas are sad.
yeah, we cannot discuss that shit. So we're gonna move on. But I have watched all of Fallout, so I'll be like the voice. I'm getting real used to being on this podcast and just kind of going off on tangents about shit that nobody else has seen or played, and just being like, yo, I need y'all to understand how good this is. And I'm fine with it because that means things are coming out that are really, really high quality, and Fallout is just another one. Like I would give this show high rankings. I don't like ranking systems, but I would give this a really, really high marks. And if y'all don't mind, I'm just gonna kind of soapbox this shit for a second because I need y'all to really understand. Like, if you haven't checked out Fallout yet, it's not just that it's a good Fallout show or that it's just a good TV show. It's a phenomenal version of both of those things. Like the fallout of it all, the way that they take the game world from Fallout and just kind of bring it to life. I mean, we've seen some really, really good examples of that in like movies and TV shows for games, but this is honest to God, probably the best that I've seen. Like when you're watching it, you literally looking around like, yo, I could really you could loot over there. Like this, you want to open that locker because there's probably some ammo in there. Like it really feels like you're looking at the game in a way I don't think you can really explain without sitting down and watching the show. Um, and on top of that, like the actual story, which I won't spoil or anything, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it gets serious to a point where I'm fascinated to know where things are going. Like, I can't wait for season two. And I wasn't all that interested. I mean, not I wasn't disinterested in Fallout, but it wasn't at the top of my list or anything like that. And now I'm all in. Like I'm gassed up about this entire thing. So with that in mind, just because Fallout for me I won't even say set a new standard. We had other great adaptations before this, but it put things in a different light as far as how much you can bring some shit to life. I want to kind of talk about some of the adaptations that have happened already, some of the ones that are coming up, especially, and what they would need to do to kind of hit that same mark. Um, Before we get started, I've been rapping for a little bit, so I want to know if y'all have any adaptations that kind of feel like what I'm describing. Like, have you watched something yet video game wise that you feel like, yo, I can't believe they brought this to life like this?
I mean, I want to say Last of Us, but I kind of feel like Last of Us was a layup because it was really, really perfect for what HBO does.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know Last of Us was a game and you just watched it as a show, you'd just be like, "Oh, this is fire as fuck." So
Facts.
it's hard for me to use that one as an example. I mean, I guess the best one for me would be the Mario Brothers movie, which to me was not nearly as much of a layup, even in animation. But the fact that they kept a lot of the music cues, there was a lot of fan service. I mean, Mario was spinning Bowser around by his tail. Like there was a lot of shit in there that felt like you could have translated it to a game if you wanted to. Like if Nintendo was the type to just cash in on shit just because it exists, I feel like they could have made a game out of that. And I think that's probably the one I would go with.
Oh yeah. It's I guess it's not surprising that there's no Mario the movie, the game, but there could have been. You're absolutely right. It has everything that you need.
Remember Power Rangers, the movie, the game?
I sure do. I
Yeah,
sure do remember
I
that.
had
Power
that on Game
Rangers,
Gear.
they had some interesting games. Like I still can't tell you like the level of quality of any of the Power Rangers games I played as a kid.
Oh, the
Cause
OG Power Rangers on Game Gear was fire.
and I believe that, but I'm biased because I was just so in on Power Rangers. I'm like, yo, I get to play as the Power Rangers. This is the best game I've ever played in my life, you know. But yeah, nah, there's like a lane for that. I don't think it fits Nintendo, but I think that Mario built up a universe that feels like the Mushroom Kingdom, but is unique enough that it could have got one. What about you, James? Have you seen anything that like really stood out like that?
Um, I would probably agree with Mario. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably about the closest. Just watching that movie, just all the different things from Mario Kart to the different suits, just everything just felt like, like I was in, the game and everything like that. So I would definitely say probably Mario.
honestly, it's one of the best examples, especially when it comes to just continuing to just like feed you fan service throughout the whole movie. Like every step of that joint was just now it's Mario Kart, now it's DK. You know what I mean? Like you said, they did the
There was some
tailspin from
Luigi's Mansion
64
in there.
fast. Like they got a little bit of everything, not everything, because there's still a lot left to do, but they touched on some things that I was very surprised on in the Mario movie, and they did it all with a lot of love. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like just those love letters. Now, animation is where you can get excessive. Like I feel like Mario, it was so much shit in that movie that I don't even like you can't even wrap your head around as much stuff as there was on screen at any one moment. Like the breakdowns of that movie are crazy. So
Just the simple shit like selecting the stuff that was on the cart.
yeah. Yeah, like I mean, like the way that things sounded when you hit them, like the little items that was in the stores were all like themed around different Mario games. Like there's it's too much. I mean, there's music cues that it's impossible to catch without like pausing the movie every 5 seconds. So much love to Mario. That's definitely high up on that list. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I think Last of Us is actually also a good call, but like you said, Last of Us was more of a movie when it was a game than it was anything. Like, not in the detrimental way that people talk about games, but that shit was so cinematic already. It was just like it was storyboarded for you. So definitely high up on that list. I would say I have one in mind that I just cannot think of. I hate when stuff leaves my mind like that, but there's been quite a few. I want to give a random shout out, not because it was like the best movie in the world, but because nobody talks about the old Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies anymore.
First one
Those,
was fire.
yeah, those were like cheesy like action movies that worked. They just worked. I mean, there's a reason why they made a sequel and then they rebooted the movie. So shout out to those movies. They kind
I
of
don't think I've seen the reboot.
I
I
didn't
can't.
either.
I don't think I watched that. I didn't
And
like Cradle of Life though, but the first one was dope.
mm, yeah. Now that I mean, by the sequel, you already know what's going on, right? Like they're trying to, no, let's just do it again. Now it's more of a movie than a Tomb Raider movie. Um,
Yeah,
which is why I'm interested actually to hear about Overwatch. I mean, it's not Overwatch, excuse me,
I was
Uncharted.
about to say.
Overwatch is the one that should have an animated movie by now, but doesn't because who runs that shit. But Uncharted is the one that interests me because we got the sequel coming out soon ish. and I didn't see the first one just because it just kind of didn't look like my cup of tea. But I've heard good and mixed things about it. I want to know if y'all think it could stand up to be like a real life franchise. I know it made a lot of money.
I mean, Mark Wahlberg as Sully is like, no, nah,
Yeah, that's
fuck
why I said
no.
what I said.
Like, it's nah, man. Like, I'm not a Mark Wahlberg guy anyway. Like, I feel like Pain and Gain was The Rock's movie. I don't give a fuck when nobody say like that was The Rock's best performance since The Rundown. But
Man.
him as Sully, like that's kind of ruined it for me. Like, I could buy Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. I'm with it. Um, and there was some decent little fan service, things in the movie. Obviously
Okay.
with the plane scene, kind of being the biggest one.
Yeah.
But the Sully Nathan relationship is too important to what Uncharted is for it to have been wasted on fucking Mark Wahlberg. It doesn't ruin the movie, but it makes it hard to watch for me sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the impression that I got just kind of seeing the movie hyped up and like the trailers and everything. I'm also not a big Mark Wahlberg guy. I feel like a hater, so I just don't speak on the guy because I'm like, I don't know what it is really. I'm just not a big fan.
Well,
Um,
if you do some googling, there's a very good reason to hate that motherfucker. So
I'm hip.
I'll
I'm
say
very
that
sure.
much.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a pass, but I'm trying not to make that my stepping stone. I don't want that to be the only thing I'm standing on. Because that was like a long time ago. It's what I'm not saying anything here or there about it. But anyway,
Okay, I'll give you one. I'll give you one other thing to go off. His
okay.
performance in Four Brothers.
Right. Exactly. So
There you go.
that's what I mean. When we talking about acting, I'm just not that big a fan. Like, I mean, he's cool. I don't got nothing wrong, nothing necessarily against Mark Wahlberg, but I don't think he needs to play a role that fits Mark Wahlberg. Like, I had no problem with him in
Max
like
Payne.
right. That's perfect. Like he was straight,
Fuck that.
he's had his moments. But Sully was not the right call. Sully was not the right call. I feel like Tom
Could have gave
Holland.
me Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Sully, and I'd have been all for it.
I would have been in there day one, bro. Like that sounds perfect. But and I mean I love Tom Holland as an actor. Like I think he's great. I think he deserves better roles than he's probably gotten. But he's a weird choice for Nathan Drake to me personally. And I'm all the way willing to overlook that if you get the right Sully, because I think he can perform his ass off. Like it doesn't matter whether he looks the part as much, because that would be my only critique really. Um I picture Nathan Drake as like an Indiana Jones type of character, like everyone else. But I'm willing to overlook it. It's just something about it. Like you said, Sully and Nathan's relationship is the entire thing. Like you spend most of the game walking through set pieces, hearing them talk, and that's what makes the game have its personality. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that franchise going forward, but I'm open to it if they keep making movies, I guess. But I don't know if y'all had any other currently out uh adaptations you want to kind of delve into, give some love to. But I do want to kind of go through this list I have of upcoming video game adaptations that I think is kind of interesting because there's some stuff here that feels right that I can't wait to see, and there's some stuff here that I'm like, I don't know that we need that adaptation. So I'll kind of start at the top because the first one on this list is interesting to me. How do y'all feel about BioShock getting a film?
James, you want to take that one?
I mean, I feel like that can be done good if it's done the right way. Um, hmm. Again, I feel like it can really do something great if they do it the right way. I think if they did that movie though, they would have to do similar to um, what's that movie that was in first person? And he was
Oh, God, what?
something Henry, something like that. Um,
Yeah, Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore
Yeah,
Henry,
there
yeah.
you go.
If they did it that way, so you can then still see like all the big daddies and all that, I think it would
Mm.
be fine. I just feel like with that, it also needs a certain level of horror. So like, let's say like Sam Raimi did it, I feel like it would be pretty good.
That's an interesting call. I'm not mad at Sam Raimi for his particular brand because, like, there's been a lot of calls for him to direct MCU stuff. I think he's better at horror stuff. Like Drag Me to Hell is fire, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking classic.
Yeah, so I'm with that actually. I I feel like the first person would be cool. That'd be different. It's just like I picture hardcore Henry when I hear that. Like, so I'm picturing like, yo, we gonna be running through Rapture and like gunning shit down, you know. But I think that there's like a way to do it in a way that's like real like BioShock has a tastefulness and like a class to it almost. Like there's an aesthetic. It almost kind of does remind me of Fallout in the derelict 60s future retro futuristic vibe that that has going on. But Fallout is a little bit more silly, whereas BioShock is just kind of dark and like threatening the whole time. Um, my thing about this is that I don't think we needed a film version of this particular story. I think that the game did it really well. But I will say that it's such a strong story with such strong twists and stuff that I think it could work. I do. I know there's like, do we need it is a different question, but I think it could be a really good movie if, like you said, they take their time and care about it enough.
I think is my general reaction to a Fallout movie is absolutely the fuck not.
Which I
Um,
get.
but the only way I think it could work is it, like James says, if it's in first person, because that twist only works if you feel like you're the character.
Mm,
Like it hits different because you're playing the game. That's why that twist works because everything is in your control, technically.
but
Um, so I think doing it in first person as a movie gives you that same feeling because you're not just watching from the outside going, what is this person doing? You feel like you're doing the shit.
hmm.
But
Interesting.
yeah, if they're not doing it like that, I kind of feel like they should keep it because I feel like it would take away from what that story turns into.
I think you would have to, if you didn't do it like that, you would have to make the main character, you know, a big character. Like, you know, you can't be as much of a placeholder for the player, which would take away from the would you call or the twist that happens in the game that I almost spoiled for everybody. But um, I don't know, man. That's tricky for me because I don't think I honestly, to be honest, like first person feels like it'll be hard to like make it feel like artistic enough. I don't know why. Like I just feel like the cuts that you would do would be limited in that sense. Like a first person movie, like an action movie, or like even like a Crank or something like that with Jason Statham, something like that in first person, I feel like fits so super well. I don't know how easy it is to make a first person like dramatic thriller or whatever the whole way through be first person. I'm not now that's not me criticizing your idea. That's more so me saying, yeah, maybe they shouldn't make this movie. Like, because if you can't capture that feeling, but I don't know. I have faith that even if it wasn't first person, they could do something cool there. They could make something special if they really wanted to out of this story. But guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Next up, I actually do want to talk about one that we do have a trailer for because it's been kind of divisive since it got announced. Borderlands. The Borderlands trailer dropped a couple months ago or something like that. I think that was a Super Bowl trailer,
Yeah,
and I dug it. I liked it. I think it looks cool. I think it looks like Borderlands. How did y'all feel about it?
I don't expect it to be great. I expect it to
Right.
be a dumb action movie, and that's kind of what Borderlands is anyway. It's a dumb action game. Like I'm not expecting story because the story don't really fucking matter in Borderlands. Kevin Hart is a weird choice for the lead, but
Yeah,
whatever. You know, Jack Black is Claptrap. I'm here for that. Um, but I'll check it out. I won't pay for it, but I'll check it out.
I feel you. I feel you on that. Yeah, I'm in a pretty similar space where I'm not a big fan of Borderlands comedic style. I'm not going to lie. Like it's just not really my thing. I appreciate it. I like that goofy stuff exists. It's a goofy ass series of games with like a sense of humor that's like adult animaniacs is the vibe I get from Borderlands. I don't know if that's accurate to anyone else, but that's how I feel
That's
about
kind of accurate.
yeah, so I can dig with its place, and I think that that could work in a movie. And the movie trailer looks like that. Like it looks like when people were critical of it, I was like, "What could you have possibly wanted from a Borderlands movie that is not exactly
Yeah,
this.
and that's the
Like,
thing. Like, and that's why I say like it's probably not going to be great, but it's that. Like
it's gonna be a Borderlands movie,
it
yeah.
is that.
Like, right, right. So we'll see. I think the casting, Jack Black is fucking killing it as Claptrap. I'm shocked by how much he sounds like Claptrap. So big shout out to them for having a vision and sticking with it.
I think my only issue with the movie is gonna be is Kevin Hart gonna be Kevin Hart in the movie?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
only thing for me that is gonna
It's a
really
weird choice.
determine, yeah, if the movie is gonna do well or not. Like you said, Jack Black is Claptrap is gonna. I mean, he's gonna kill it. Like but just the Kevin Hart thing kind of threw me off.
It's
And I don't know why. It really threw me off though.
Man, I'll be honest because it feels like Kevin Hart intentionally playing against his Kevin Hartness in a role where it doesn't work. Like it doesn't really work. You look like Kevin Hart in a parody. Like it looks like an SNL sketch where Kevin Hart's supposed to be a soldier. Like,
And you know what it looks like? It looks like Kevin Hart said, "I wanted to be in the Expendables and they wouldn't let me be in it."
oh, that's accurate as fuck. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I just
yeah.
felt like I don't know. You could have gave that role to fucking I don't know, fucking Idris Elba for I gave a fuck. And it would have made more sense to me. He could have still been funny and did everything that needed to be done. I just feel like
Yep.
Kevin Hart is gonna get in this movie. I guess it's like what we talked about earlier with like Uncharted was an okay movie, but Mark Wahlberg just destroyed the Sully character to the point I was just like, I
Right.
don't really want to watch this shit anymore. Um,
Yeah.
and then at the end, it was like, yeah, well, let's give him the mustache. And I was like, I really don't give a fuck.
That's
Like,
not that's not
I really
happening.
don't.
Yeah. I
So
feel
it's
you on
it's
that.
it's going to be that moment where everybody's watching Borderlands and Kevin's going to go into his, "Hey, listen, guys, listen," and we're not gonna be there for it. And
Yeah. First of all,
I can't see him doing anything other than being Kevin Hart.
that was a really good breakdown of Kevin Hart's like not you didn't really say anything, but you just fucking said everything about this man's whole
That's
comedic
that's his whole
performance.
yeah, that's his whole gimmick.
But
Like
I'm honestly not mad at Kevin Hart. Like he has his lane, he
I
sticks to his
fuck with
lane.
Kevin Hart. Like that's
Yeah,
that's the thing. I fuck with Kevin Hart.
right, right.
Um,
But it's just like you know what roles feel like Kevin Hart roles, right? So
exactly. Like the joint he just did with Netflix, the heist joint, that was fire.
I
He
heard.
was doping. He was doping that. And there's like a
And
dramatic joint he did for Netflix too. That was pretty damn good. It's just that when it comes to like shit like this, where you got to be like a character, I don't know, man. You
yeah,
know. Now,
now
if
my
if I will let it go if they do this, and I know they would never do it. If there's an ostrich in the movie that kicks his ass, I'm with it. Just as a callback to his first stand up. If there's an ostrich in there, I'm with it because that's like my favorite Kevin Hart joke.
honest to God, like this is might be one of the one chances that you get to actually do that. Like this
That's what I'm
movie,
saying. That's probably the only movie he's gonna be able to do where you could just randomly get an ostrich in there scaring the shit out.
I'll be here for it. I'll be here for it. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, well, we're gonna wait and see on that. I know that's coming out pretty soon. Let me see if I can find a date real quick. I'm not even sure when it's coming out, but it's coming out pretty soon. So we'll get the answers on that. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna skip over like this list is in alphabetical order, and I'm gonna skip over Death Stranding because I don't know what the fuck to make of that. Like it's just I don't think
Why?
anyone I mean, it's very clear why any Kojima thing will be made into a movie because he wanted to make it a movie in the first place. Like that's Kojima. Like that's what he does. So you know what? With that being said, this is gonna be what it's gonna be. We're gonna have to wait and see what the fuck a Death Stranding movie looks like before we can talk about it. Let's jump straight down to the M section and talk about the Metal Gear Solid movie because I don't think anybody is talking about that movie, and it's a thing that's happening. Like they're making a Metal Gear Solid movie, and Oscar Isaac is playing Snake, and that's going to be fire.
Oh,
Like,
he's still in on it.
I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything
I'll
changing
watch it
on
just
that.
off the strength.
Exactly. Like, I will verify that while we kind of discuss. But like, what
Yeah, I mean,
does
I guess it depends on who directing it, but Oscar Isaac don't really missing nothing, and if he do miss, it ain't his fault. Like Moon Knight
and you know what? Now that I'm looking
or
at
X Men
it,
Apocalypse.
I'm seeing some talk about Oscar Isaac might not be attached anymore because of his schedule or whatever, but we'll see. I'm still here for a Metal Gear Solid movie just off the strength, but I wanted to ask y'all, like, what do y'all think that would have to be to feel like Metal Gear Solid? Because that's a very unique thing to feel like.
Oh no.
Um, hmm,
Fair.
that
Yeah,
that's tough.
fair.
I would definitely say for me, definitely just the characters. So, um,
Mm.
I don't know which one they're gonna start with. I guess that would matter too.
It's got
So,
to be Metal Gear Solid, right? Like, you
I mean,
guys,
I don't know because really, it technically like Peace
yeah,
Walker is like for what I'm saying. So like,
yeah,
I don't know what are you gonna go with. So that's why I say, but I think the characters in the movie are important. So if you're gonna do certain things like having ocelots and gray foxes and all those things are important, which they can't do. Like it's easy to do, but I think making sure that those other characters are there is gonna make that movie better. I mean, because you can make a cool, spy type, assassin movie,
mm,
especially depending on who directs it. But having those other characters that pop up in those is going to be important. But then also, like I said, what story or are you going to try to create your own from it? Because that's important. Because if you jump the Metal Gear Solid 1 and then you do all this crazy stuff, then people are going to be like, well, I'm confused.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like you said, that is the cornerstone of it. Like you are absolutely right. The characters is gonna make it what it is for sure. Um, I was gonna say you just made me realize what it needs to be is uh if Kill Bill was a James Bond movie. Like that's what Metal Gear Solid the movie needs to be. It needs to be as weird as Kill Bill, where you got a nurse that's fucking people up with like an iPad. You got like, the weirdest fucking most out there characters in the world in this super violent, dark, sometimes funny story. But you just need your main character to be like a super spy in the most unrealistic way possible.
So
Like,
you want Quentin Tarantino to direct this movie because there's literally nobody else that's going to be able to pull that off.
you know what? No. No, because it's going to be too Kill Bill and not enough James Bond if Tarantino directs it.
There's nobody else going to be able to pull that combination off, and you're guaranteed at least one N word. So you got you got to pick your spot with this one. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I can't think of who would direct that and make it work. Like that's just such a hard fucking adaptation to pull off.
it is. It really is. I mean, the task is tall as hell, but that's the closest thing. Like thinking about Kill Bill, particularly, like for whatever reason, Kill Bill Volume 2 is sticking out of my head. Just the just the randomness of like the shit that happens, like the way that I guess I'm saying that because Quentin Tarantino will make some shit weird and just stick by it with the conviction of a Kojima. Like he will not like explain the shit.
I love the Hateful Eight.
Yeah, like
That is
that
like pure Tarantino. Like
facts. Just going off doing his thing. Like this is my dialogue bag, and this is where I live at, and this is what you're gonna get from me. And I love that. Like fire me. So I think it's gonna be very interesting to see where that goes. We do have Detective Pikachu 2 coming out soon. I think nobody talks about Detective Pikachu like that either, but it's because that movie's
uh
a fever dream.
yeah, Peekapool was not it was I mean it was cool, but I ain't really care
Yeah,
about it. Like I watched it. I watched it all the way through because like I'll be watching whatever Ryan Reynolds is in for obvious reasons.
right.
But it was just a movie I got to the end of and I was like, I don't need to see this again.
Yeah, I mean, I have never had a desire to like sit down and watch it again. Um, but I think it's awesome that that shit exists. Like, I think the fact that it is so weird is like to its benefit on the low because we never thought we would get any type of live action Pokemon movie. What? Like Charizard out here battling people in live action in a ring is crazy. So I think it was one of those cases. So I'm just interested to see how far that's going to continue going. Um, I actually didn't know they were making a Gears movie. Like I had no idea. This is what I'm like. There's so
Oh
much coming
yeah,
up.
Batista's been angling to get the lead in that for years.
You're right. You're right. He has. But
Which, given how much better he's gotten as an actor, I'm actually kind of with it. When he was first talking about it, I was like, I don't know, but
no, my
I'm kind of
man,
with that.
he has the chops. I don't necessarily know if he's like got the character type of like Marcus Phoenix in my eyes. Um, but
He
he
could
has
pull that
that.
off.
He has the acting ability. I just like started watching Blade Runner 2049 to finally get that off my watch list. And I've always heard Batista had like 10 minutes of screen time in that, and it was his best performance ever. And now I understand why people say that. He killed that movie. Like very much
There's
so.
another movie he did. It popped up on Netflix. I can't remember it, but it was like he was in a city and like there was this big fucking riot or something going on. And he
Hmm.
tore that shit. I wish I can remember. I'm gonna look that shit up, send it
It
to you, but I
was
wish I can remember the name of it.
I don't know if this is the same one. I know that he was like getting a lot of praise for the one where he was, I don't know if it was The Box or whatever he was in, but the similar movie where somebody comes to your door and has like a proposition for you. It was like
Uh,
kill one person or kill like a
Oh, you
thousand
talking
people.
about the M Night Shyamalan joint?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, he was firing it. Fuck M Night Shyamalan movies recently, but he was dope in that.
Or
They did my man Ron dirty though. They Ron Weasley in that motherfucker. They did him dirty.
that sucks. I ain't seen
But
my man
nah,
since.
Batista was good in that shit.
I'm not mad, man. I really respect him for just popping up and being like the shit as far as acting. He might be the best, like skill wise, wrestler turned actor. I don't know if y'all have any other ones that y'all want to throw out there above him, but like dude can
Nah,
act.
he's there. My issue with Batista early on was that he was trying to act like I'm better than you because I'm doing dramatic movies. Like, because Rock was in his action lane, Cena was kind of doing like the action comedy thing, and he acting like he
Mhm.
better than everybody. Like he fucking went to Juilliard. Like nigga, I saw you out here in your tights like these other two motherfuckers. Like,
Yeah,
chill out. You're doing your thing, but stop acting like you better than niggas. You got an
gotta stay
MCU
humble.
deal, and you over here, just
I,
flexing for no reason.
I will give him credit though, because I remember when he got that MCU deal, and I remember not only fans but also like the company giving him flack because he said he was leaving. And I
Mhm.
remember Triple H telling him when he left that that movie is gonna bomb and you'll be back. And
They
he
they
said,
they did it with
I
all three of them. They did the same thing with all three of them. Although
Crazy.
Rock was the closest to flopping out of all of them. People don't remember Skinny Rock. They don't
Mhm.
remember Southland Tales Rock when he had the slick back hair because he was listening to his agency and they was like, "You got to lose the weight. You got to stop talking about wrestling," and that almost tanked his fucking career. And he fired them
Yeah,
folks. Was like, "Nah, I need to bulk back up. I need to get back on this rock shit."
oh yeah.
And Fast Five dropped, and it's been up ever since.
literally.
Well,
That's
like
great.
I said, I always give him credit because I thought, Walking Tall and all those movies to
Oh,
me.
Walking Tall was dope. Rundown is my favorite rock movie ever to this
Mhm.
day.
Then
He
that
has some
man,
heat in there.
oh yeah, then he showed you had a little bit of range when he was in what's that? Be Cool.
Yep.
He was great and Be Cool.
Yeah. Um,
Facts.
but then, like we talked about before, his best to me is still Pain and Gain, man. Like I don't care what nobody has to say. And the funny thing about that
He
movie
killed
is,
that.
I didn't know that movie until like later on that it was directed by Michael Bay, and I was like, damn, like
Right?
Hmm.
No explosions,
yeah, something
nothing
like I think it
crazy.
was like one explosion in there. I think like that was it.
Man, Michael Bay every now and then, he'll tone it down and make something pretty dope.
As
I feel
long as
like
there's no
it.
Transformers in there, he's fine.
Facts. Just keep him away from those movies, please. Even though I think we're gonna look back on the Transformers movies and be like, these weren't as ass as we think they were. We was
No,
Not
they
the
just
were.
first
getting
two.
No,
way.
they were.
I enjoyed the first two.
The first two were pretty cool. Again, stop putting Mark Wahlberg and shit. But
Exactly.
yeah, I'm not gonna make this the Mark Wahlberg hate hour. We're not doing that, but we're gonna move on. Let's see
You
what
got
else
Mortal
is.
Kombat 2 coming.
Yeah,
Oh
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I know James. You wanted to talk about the OG because I saw it too and I thought it was amazing.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I love the first Mortal Kombat. I thought it was done the right way. My only thing about the second one, and this is my biggest gripe, and I know people are gonna, but for me, I felt like Johnny Cage should have been the Miz. But that's just me. I think he would have took that role, and I think he would have like murdered it. Now,
Yeah, I
Carl
agree.
Urban
Nah,
is
you and
is
me both.
fine, Like, he's great in everything he does. I just feel
Right.
like he's going to be Butcher in Mortal Kombat. I don't know why I
Wait,
think, but
who's
that's
playing
what
Johnny Cage?
Carl Urban.
Kyle Urban.
So
No, you gotta understand. Like I'm a huge Carl Urban fan. Like
yeah,
he kills he killed Dread. The little bit of piece he had of Lord of the Rings, he was killing that.
yep.
The boys, like
Thor.
that motherfucker dope. Thor, yeah, he dope, but
It's
I
not
just
John.
felt like the Miz was born for
The
that
Miz
role.
that was it.
That was his
That
role.
he's been Johnny Cage in WWE for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
literally like,
Like
listen,
that was him,
it
man.
it takes one glance at his characterization to just see exactly why he wants to be. Like he shouldn't even had an audition. He should have just sent them clips of WWE. So I all the way with y'all, man. But
If whatchamacallit wasn't so old now, because he voiced them in the animated movie, I would have been like Joe McHale could have did it too, because he voiced them
uh,
in animated,
Yeah,
but he just
Joe McHale's got Johnny
yeah,
Cage written all over him.
he's just
he
too
would
old now.
he probably just had to bulk up
Yeah.
unless he wanted to be like getting his ass whooped all over the movie. But yeah.
But no, that first one, that first my only gripe with the first Mortal Kombat movie is that main character is completely and totally unnecessary, and his power is literal plot armor. Like that pisses me off to this day. Like
That's
I can't handle that shit.
yeah.
I rewatched that movie multiple times. It's really that good.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't
mean
give a fuck about the main character. Like you can
that
leave him
was
out.
I think that's almost objective. Like I think nobody who watched that, I forgot the nigga was in the movie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He
But
doesn't matter.
I forget about that until I'm like, what was it that I didn't like about this again? And then I mean, I've heard it from everybody who talks about the movie. Like he was just kind of there. But I mean, I get that they wanted to have an audience insert in there. They just didn't quite do it the way I would have wanted to see it. Like that he didn't hit right. I have faith in them. The second movie will focus a little bit more on, the people that we want to see, like the characters that you have already. 'Cause you already got a universe. You don't need to be adding people for it. We don't need a character to
Don't need that at
follow.
all. We got
Yeah,
plenty of characters in this world.
facts. I mean, I was so invested in Sub-Zero and Scorpion that I ain't need nobody else to like feel like was my main character. That whole story was fucking dark and crazy and dope. So can't wait for two. We also have Ghost of Tsushima coming up, which I am
They what?
ecstatic. Yeah, they're making a Ghost. I mean, now this is one of those that was announced a while ago, I'm pretty sure. So how far along it's coming, if it's actually going to happen, that's up in the air. But yeah, there is a Ghost movie coming, and they have the director of John Wick on board for it. So
Sign me up.
yeah, pretty much. All the way here for that. That actually reminds me of it because I don't think we need to say much more about that. That sounds awesome. We all gonna be in that theater. Um, Ghost is just so artistic and like beautiful. They just need to capture the magicness of that world, like the colorfulness and like the way that they had so much reverence for like every little aspect of nature and stuff. Like they just got to capture what Ghost was, and it'll be fire. Um, I do want to bring up though that I think the John Wick team is also making a Sifu movie. And I just want to throw that out there because that sounds fucking sick as hell. Like,
Oh, we need a nah.
I think that should sound. Listen,
I don't think it's gonna be whack. It's going to be good. It just
if so,
I don't know.
I'm a spoilers for Sifu real quick. I have to spoil it just to kind of talk about the story a little bit. I'm gonna try not to completely spoil it, but like it's a revenge plot, right? So you're going through, you fighting the five people. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spoil it to talk about this. So I don't know if anybody didn't finish Sifu. You go through, you fight all five of the like you have your backstory where you're a kid, you watch your father get murdered by these five kung fu leaders. You go through this whole plot as an adult to kill the leaders. Then you get to the last one and you realize that he was like become like this peaceful like monk type character, and like you got to debate if you want to actually take him out or not. And I think that type of moral dilemma in a martial arts movie writes itself. Like you don't think that'll fit as a film?
I think it'll be better as a series. Like that's like my thing is not everything has to be a movie.
Okay, yeah.
And like not everything fits as a movie. And also, just for the record, I am very much on the side of kill that motherfucker when you get there. Because you ain't choose peace then. Now all of a sudden I gotta go through all this work and I gotta get to you to I have asked myself for forgiveness. I have went
Yeah,
away from my old. No, fuck you, nigga.
I absolutely get it. He fucking killed your dad. So it is what it is. They will still take you to jail for shit that you've done long ago, no matter how many times you go confess. You know what I mean? So um, I get it, but I think it's going to be very interesting to watch like this character who's like justification for murder was this thing battle with the complexity of humanity and like the passing of time and like forgiveness and how powerful it is and blah blah blah. I mean, I just think there's a movie there. Like it makes sense to me. And Sifu is not the most story driven thing in the world, so it is a case to me of a movie that can bring out more than the game actually did with the story. So I'm interested. Now, one that we agreed on prior to starting this was that it's very strange that The Rock is helping to make an It Takes Two movie. I don't know what to make of that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he going to be in it or is he just producing?
I think he's producing. Yeah, it just says he's producing on it. So just kind of a weird choice.
Because
Oh
I,
no, The Rock is reportedly in line to star in It Takes Two, though nothing has been
see,
confirmed.
and that's what throws me off.
Yeah.
Because one, the movie as a movie, it's just weird. I mean, I'm assuming he's playing like one of the parents, right?
He would have to be the dad. Like that would just make sense, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, so I haven't played it. So I can't really speak to how much this fits as a movie. It just seems like a out of nowhere, let's grab this IP up and just make something out of it. But
I mean, it would be like a dope ass like Chicken Run Wallace and Gromit type situation.
hmm,
If they staying in that lane, but
you know
you know,
what? I can dig that actually. Because we need more of those. I mean, maybe not more chicken runs if anything I'm hearing about the second one is true. But we need more Wallace and Gromits for sure. But I just wanted to throw that out there for the audience who might be interested or confused by that, like I was, because I didn't know that shit was happening. Um, Another one I actually didn't know about. Apparently, I was alone in this, but I didn't know that Netflix was making a Mega Man series movie. I don't know which one it is, but I'm here for it. Mega Man deserves more love.
cartoon was dope.
Yeah. Have y'all seen Sonic Prime on Netflix by chance?
Still
No,
haven't watched it.
I am gonna watch that Knuckles show, but I've not watched
Knuckles, that's another one we need to talk about because my guy is getting a show. That's my homie. My hair is like this because of that motherfucker. Um, but nah, like Sonic Prime, fire. Like unexpectedly fire animated Sonic show, like CGI Sonic show. That when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's just some Sonic show. It's probably was, you expect it to be coming on at 8 o'clock on Disney Channel or whatever. But the story actually gets kind of interesting, and it got me through like 3 seasons. I'm not gonna lie, I watched the whole damn thing, so recommend it. And we already talked about Metal Gear Solid. So at this point, I'm just kind of rounding out the list, man. I know there's a lot coming out that we still need to discuss. There's some random shit, like they're making a Pac-Man movie. Somebody has an idea there. I'm not going to even talk about that one until that shit happens. Um,
Was Pixels not enough?
it really was. It really. Some would say it was too much, but yeah, it was enough at least.
Yeah.
um, Here's one I had no idea. Okay, yeah, and the first thing that says here is you be forgiven for forgetting that the Portal movie was even a thing. They're making a Portal movie apparently. That's never happening, I don't think.
For who? For
Produce
what?
It looks like it's just being written as a straight up film from Warner Brothers. J.J. Abrams is producing. Like he's
Oh,
out here.
Warner Brothers and J.J. Abrams. We will
This
never
is
see that movie.
never happened. Like they could finish filming this shit. The trailer could be out and we might never see it. Fucking Warner Brothers. So yeah. Yeah, that sounds like some of these feel like good ideas that somebody greenlit. Like I think we're in that era of video game adaptation where it's like, oh yeah, this sounds awesome. Like I think books went through this too, where yeah, it sounds like an awesome movie. We should make a movie out of it. It's green light, green light, green light. And then Everything gets fucking lumped into development hell, essentially,
So
or
that's how
whatever
we
you
got
call it.
stuck with that first set of Percy Jackson movies.
Man, facts. Like, and I mean, you know, kids that grew up around that time probably love them. But it took the series coming out like last year or this year for more book accurate when it comes. So
I was gonna say,
let's
I heard
take
the new
our
shit was dope.
yeah, let's take our time. Let's get there first. Like let's not that, not hating on the OG Percy Jackson cast, but let's make things because we have the passion for them. Like there's a Saints Row movie coming apparently. We don't need a Saints Row
Fuck
movie.
that.
That doesn't need to happen. I mean, I'm not hating. Saints Row is cool. I think I've always been in the camp of let's have more GTA clones, but Saints Row movie, I don't know. I don't know.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know about that one. I don't know about that.
Is if either it's gonna happen because that feels like one of those where like I'll say something that's like sounds cool and be like that's never gonna happen. Saints Row feels like it'll happen. Like somebody will shit that out at some point.
Speaking
But
of
will it
shit,
be good?
the reboot was terrible.
Yes. I mean, let me not say yes, I didn't play it, but I've heard
Yeah, the reboot of the game was terrible.
it sucks, man. We have such a need for GTA clones. Do you see the rate that Grand Theft Auto games drop? Y'all need to fill these gaps, bro. It's like a fucking 15-year window
Uh,
for y'all to just
One
be out there.
good GTA clone would absolutely blow the doors off of everything.
Like, I mean, and granted, I think we had a phase, I mean, a generation, if you want, where everyone was trying it, but that and everybody got burnt out. But I think we're past that. We need to kind of keep it
We need
pushing.
to bring it back.
Yeah, let's kind of get this started going. Um, like at a certain point, we gotta chill. They're making a Stray movie. They're making a Streets of Rage movie. The
Yeah, we're doing
Division
too
is making.
much. We're doing too
It's
much.
like we're going crazy.
The
Streets
Division
of,
should be a TV show. This is what I'm talking about. Not everything should be a movie. The Division should be a TV show. I would watch that if it's done right.
Hmm.
Streets of Rage. I mean, that's my favorite game. So I'm gonna watch it no matter what.
And I get it. Like they announced something like, I mean, the Zelda movie. Who knows what's going to happen there? But I'm gonna be in that theater. You know what I mean? That's my.
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna watch. I don't know
Oh
how I'm
yeah,
gonna feel about it, but I'm gonna
yeah,
watch.
yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna definitely check it out. It don't matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm gonna be wasting my money.
Yep.
Every time I say the Zelda movie, I feel like I'm in like. I mean, this is the most. What dimension is this type of thing? Like, how did we get to a point where they're making this movie? Um,
Again, something else that should have been a fucking TV show.
yes, an
But
animated TV show.
yeah, and this is the thing. That's the thing. Because that's what I wanted to mention before we stop. We got to stop with the live action shit.
Yeah,
Like a lot of this shit is better in animation. Just flat out better. There's just so much you can do in animation that you can't do live action. Like anything X-Men hasn't really hit in live action outside of like Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine. Like that's kind of it. But then you look at like X-Men 97 and it all fucking slaps.
yeah.
Because there's just so much of that you can't really translate to live action. Could you imagine? Like you think about the first episode of X-Men 97. We got Wolverine with Gambit on his fucking back, charging his claws up with the car. They wouldn't do that in live action.
Or it wouldn't look as good.
Then that's the thing. You could
Yeah,
CGI that a little bit, throw some wire work, but it won't look as awesome. It just
right.
won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like by definition, animation is less restrictive. I've always been in that like same exact camp. We need to push that a little bit more, make it so that we kind of like appreciate adult animation. Um, Complete side note, have y'all heard that Seth Rogen is making an R-rated animated Venom movie?
No,
Yep.
but I'm kind of here for it.
I have no kind of. I finally watched TMNT. I love the boys. Like this man is part of Invincible. I'm like, yo, that feels like a great fit. But I say that to say we need more of that. Like we need to bring adult animation to the movie theaters more often. Like that
I
doesn't
mean, look,
happen
man,
as. Mhm.
could you imagine like Samurai Jack in live action? That would be one season that would have been canceled. That
Yep.
only worked because it was animated.
Yep. Yep. We need to really appreciate the fact that we can just do whatever. Like look at Avatar. You
Shout
know,
out to
like
Phil Lamar, by the way. A lot of people, I just recently learned that a lot of people did not know he was Jack.
really, yeah, no, yeah. Shout out to Phil Lamar. Yep. Jack, Wilt, Hermes, like all these
Yeah.
people were. Um, yeah, no, there's a lane where animation just it's not even that it's like, oh, we need to support it so that it doesn't die. It's no, this is better for this. Like, if
Yeah.
we want to do fantasy, if you want to do like again, look at Avatar. The Netflix Avatar had a lot going for it. There's a lot of positives about it, but something about it just works better in the animation. It just does. Like all the elements being bit, all the way that they tell their story, the characterization of the characters, like even like the comedic timing and shit like that. It just sometimes works in animation in a way, and then you have times when it like works in both or it works better in live action, which is rare. But like a Scott Pilgrim works in both mediums. Um, that's because they shot it with the boldness that they did and just like leaned all the
Oh
way
yeah.
into that style, bro. Like that's an all-time movie because they did not like let live action hinder them. Same with Fallout. Fallout wouldn't be any better if it was animated because it's fucking goofy as hell. It's as bright and colorful and weird and goofy and violent as the games. I'm talking about you shoot motherfuckers' heads off just like you do in the games, and somehow they made it feel like it makes sense for this fucking gun to be taking a person's like entire top of their head off. It doesn't make sense, but it works because they don't shy away from it. So we
I'm with
need
all
we
that.
need to push more of that. Like, if it's not something like Fallout, it's gonna look crazy. Fallout is like leaning into the fact that it doesn't give a fuck. But if you have something like I don't even know, like something like I wouldn't want to see a live action Devil May Cry, but I can't wait for the Netflix Devil May Cry. That's just gonna be amazing.
And it's made
So
by the same people to make Castlevania. Castlevania, fucking amazing.
I can't believe I didn't bring up Castlevania before this. Castlevania is like top tier. I know we already did an episode on adaptations that we talked about it, but Castlevania is fucking
Elite.
phenomenal. Like both of them, the new one too, Richter is fucking phenomenal. So yeah, I have no doubt Devil May Cry is gonna be fire.
You know what my
Um,
favorite, like, and this is kind of proof that some things you just can't do in live action as opposed to animation. But ever since I was a kid, my favorite animated gag has been in the Pokemon series. When somebody says something like off the wall, and then it's like they skip a frame and they just end up on their fucking head.
drop.
Yeah. You can't do shit like that in live action. Like that type of comedic time, and you can't do shit like that in live action.
Yes. I don't think there's any expression of you stupid that hits harder than
Right.
that.
I'm willing to risk neck compression and a concussion to let you know how fucking dumb that was that you just said to
Facts.
me.
Facts. I mean, look at the nosebleed thing. We know what's happening. Like they're conveying certain emotions in a way where it's like one visual gag, you get it right there. I don't know. There's some benefits to animation that I really think really get brushed off. Now, sometimes it is cool to see things brought to life. Certain things fit for that. Like the last movie I want to bring up that I actually don't know if I knew was getting announced or getting made into a live action movie, but Yakuza fits. Yakuza as a movie
Oh,
sounds,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm with that.
yeah.
that's something that like, but again, you're gonna have to lean into the fact that this is one of the weirdest game series ever. Like this motherfucker, you'd be just as soon to go run down somebody for some money as you are like round up somebody's chickens or some shit. Like,
Yeah,
you'd be
like,
in
and that's the thing. Like, I don't want to see Japanese Goodfellas.
right,
Like,
right.
let's get silly as fuck with it.
Exactly. Like it's 100% needs to be. Now, when people are coming to see this movie called Yakuza, they're not
I
gonna be
mean,
thinking of the games. Yeah, like
they're gonna be thinking it's a dead serious movie. But that's why you got to portray that shit in the trailers. Like, let people know what's up off
facts,
rip. So again,
facts.
people aren't expecting Japanese Goodfellas.
Yep. Well, call it like a dragon if you want to avoid all that shit,
Yeah,
because it's gonna be what it
Yeah.
is. But
If they did the movie, I would say Yakuza should be done like Bullet Train.
yes, good. That's a really good pull,
Bullet Train would be a good one.
man. That's exactly the style. Like Bullet Train is breakneck speed, doesn't give a fuck, like all style and
Like,
substance.
get Stephen Chow to direct Yakuza movie.
All the way
That's the
with it.
one right there.
100%.
Give me
I
all
am
the Shaolin
100%.
soccer shit. Give me all of that goofy shit.
Man, that is actually the most fitting
Yeah,
call I've heard in a long time.
I love Shaolin soccer so much.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
a point where I was watching that shit like every 6 months.
yeah.
I
That
fucking love
movie,
that movie.
I love that movie too.
classics, classics. I really appreciate the fact that we got a Shaolin Shocker reference in here before we ended this podcast. So
Kung Fu Hustle, man, that
yeah,
motherfucker can't miss when he get in his bag. He can't miss.
different type of vibe, bro. You'll never find that vibe anywhere else. That's what I would say. So shout out to those movies, man. But I think that is a good place to kind of wrap things up, man. We talked about a lot more movies than I thought we were going to because there's so much coming out. Like it's about to get crazy out here. So we're gonna have plenty more to review and look into and kind of discuss. Guys, let us know what adaptations you are looking forward to the most, what you think needs to be made, what games like should fit as live action adaptations. Leave a comment below the video because we definitely want to hear from you. And make sure you like and subscribe
Oh,
so we know.
before we go,
Mhm.
we're not going to do like J. Cole and delete this episode.
Do we have to get a shot in at J. Cole?
Yes,
Do
yes,
we
we
have
did.
to? The
Yes,
man
because
chose
that man is
peace.
40 years old telling me about some goddamn peer pressure,
You
and
about
that's
to
why
have
he
me.
responded to Kendall. Fuck out of here.
You about to
No,
have me on here for another 20 minutes, bro. We're
fuck
not
out of
doing
here.
this shit. We're not doing this shit. All right, we're gonna
He
wrap
didn't
up the
believe none of
show.
that shit he was rapping about. You can hear it.
He sure didn't, and this is why I don't like it. You know what? We're not gonna talk about none of this. We're gonna continue this off the air. I'm sick of you, motherfuckers. I'm tired of y'all. Y'all leave my man's Cole alone, bro. He ain't do nothing wrong. This beef was
Yes, he
stupid
did.
and fake. We don't get anyway. Let us know how you feel about the Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake beef that everyone keeps talking about in the comments below because we want to hear from you guys, man. And make sure you like and subscribe because we want to know we are making this the right show for you. So definitely keep tuned. But until next time, I'm Kendall. This is James and Tony, and make sure you keep gaming. Take care.